Welcome to Turn Extension, a supplemental podcast for the Advanced Maneuvers YouTube channel.
Hey everybody, welcome to Turn Extension Mark III, Season 1, Episode 1. With you today, you have myself, Polar Bear Cub on the forums, or Tony.
Hey everybody, it's Kevin, Dowdark on the forums.
And Devin, Cutthroat Cure on the forums.
And today, we are starting off Turn Extension again. We're going to do things a little bit differently. So this time around, the goal is to have Turn Extension be just about a half hour where we're going to talk. Usually the three of us, we might get a couple extra guests on every once in a while, which kind of talk about different topics. So today we are going to be talking about lock and load since the three of us got together and did lock and load. So first off, who wants to start?
Well, personally, I think one of the things that made Lock and Load such a great experience, other than rooming with both of you two, was the fact of just the absolute just community that just had everything inside of it. You had the gameplay experience, you had the hobby experience, you had the community experience, not to mention just being in a beautiful part of the country. So I really feel like it was the complete package.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think it was, for me, it was the first time I ever went out to Seattle, and I really was excited about that. I felt like going to Lock and Load was kind of one of the highlights that I wanted to do. It was kind of one of those bucket list checkoffs. And I feel like going there, which, again, rooming with two of you guys, just that experience of being able to see so many different people and kind of really be there in the thick of it was overall, for me, a super exciting thing.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. One of the things that was actually kind of, I mean, dare I say, overwhelming was once we got there, so we got there, I should say I got there late on Thursday. And from Thursday to Sunday, just meeting so many sweet people, meeting a lot of the fans. People come up and be like, hey, love what you guys do and all that stuff. But just not even the fans, just so many awesome people making new friends. I don't go to the West Coast that often, so I got to meet a lot of people that I've never met before, and it was a lot of fun. I even got a couple games in against people that I've never met before, where we sat down. So I got in a grand total of 4 games at Lock and Load, which a lot of people are like, why in the hell did you go to a gaming convention that's 3 days long and only get 4 games in? And it's because there's so much to do at Lock and Load that kind of plays into it. But also, we were there doing some advanced maneuvers coverage. But it was my first night that I got there. I got in 2 games with some fans of the show, playing Mark II. I actually, when I went to Lock and Load, I wasn't really looking to play anything Mark II. Like before the Mark III announcement was up and I had signed myself up, I was like, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to play in hardcore. I'm going to play in masters. I'm going to play in all these different tournaments and get my game on. And then Mark III came out and I was like, Mark II what? I don't really care anymore. I was just waiting for those Mark III rules so I could just dive in and start playing Mark III. But I did end up getting a couple games in the Iron Arena area, and it was just pretty sweet getting to play, fans of the show, and again, people I'd never met before finally getting in 2 games in Mark III after the rules had been released. One was against you, Tony, is going to be our first Mark III battle report on the channel, and then the second one was against a guy who had brought a LeConte list and was playing with the new Convergence Colossal that came out.
How did that one go with that? That sounds interesting.
That match I was playing Kozlov, and that matchup was brutal as hell. I mean, I think I got wiped off the table completely by the end of turn 3.
Really?
Yeah, it was brutal.
Interesting.
I know my first game of MK3 was against Tony as well, and we had to call it on the fact that I had fallen asleep halfway through it. So that was a good time. I mean, that's what happens when you stay up until 3 a.m.
Yeah, 3 a.m. every single night.
It was a good time. I mean, I had the right measurement out. I just was asleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with me, I haven't played very much in the past year at all. I think a total, before Lock and Load, all of last year I might have played 3 or 4 games, and this year up until Lock and Load I hadn't played a single game. So I got in on Wednesday night, and I was pretty excited because I flew in on Wednesday and I got to go to Mock's Boarding House, which if you have never been to Bellevue or anything resembling, that game store is just absolutely impressive. It is bigger than most restaurants, I think, in the DC, Baltimore area. It is huge. And it's a huge game store, and it has a full bar and a restaurant, which is awesome. And it also served poutine, which if you've ever had poutine, it is the most delicious thing ever that I've ever had up north. And I get so excited when I can buy it.
Yeah, just don't put yourself on a scale after you've eaten it.
Yeah, don't put, and those of you who don't know what poutine is, so poutine is, it's French fries, cheese curds, and gravy. And it is freaking delicious. It's probably, it's so good, so good. So I got to have that. I was pretty excited. Then that night, I got to hang out with DC for a little bit. And that was a lot of fun. I actually got to play Guild Ball, which is not Warmachine at all, but I got to try Guild Ball for the first time, so that was cool. Then the next day, Thursday, we actually had our Privateer Press Ganger Invitational, which is kind of fun because it allowed us just to kind of play some games and just relax and have fun. And that day, I think I only played about 3 or 4. But over the course of the next week, I ended up playing a total of 16 games, which is kind of ridiculous considering beforehand I didn't play really anything at all. So
It was like an 8-month streak, wasn't it?
dude, it really was. I think it was from August. The last time I think I played a game was when I was actually on the channel and I played Nemo 3. And from that point, I hadn't played again until Lock.
I still have PTS from that game.
Yeah, that was I mean, for me, that was a great way to end out Mark II, personally. But, no, so I was really excited. I got to play with obviously with you guys, and then I actually got to play against Rich Brotman from Beer Machine, so that was a lot of fun. Dude, Cephalix was no joke. There was just so many models to choose through. I had Kane too, and there's so many models. And then the first actual game of Mark III was against Devin, because we played the battle box until he fell asleep, and then I got to play against you, Kevin, which was super exciting. That was so much fun. A great way, I think, to kick off Mark III. And I think the final game I got to play was I actually played 2 more Mark III games against Gaston, which was pretty exciting. So we ended up doing, we did a 75-point game, and then we actually did a 3-caster Unbound Mark III game, which was interesting.
I remember Gaston telling me about that it was a scenario where you were hunting down some sort of print or something in iArena, and he was desperately trying to go to sleep, and you were just like, one more game. Oh, by the way, this one game is a 3-caster Unbound game, so it's only one game, but it's going to take 4 hours to do.
Hey, look, I don't like the cloud issues with Vax. I was just telling them just one more game. Yeah, so because they had the concept prints, which there was 2 that there was one I really wanted, another one I was like, I'll see if I can get. The first one I wanted was they had the Thorn Gun Mage picture, and it was awesome. It was a 3 Thorn Gun Mages. It was it was drawn with a pencil, it looked really nice. And they also had another one of Maddox, and I was like, well, if I can get close to Maddox, I'll try, but I'm not that excited, whatever. And then after we turned in our 75-point game, I only had 6 Iron Arena points left to get, so I got Maddox. So I was like, come on, man. We do an Unbound game on a scenario table, fully painted. That equals 6 points.
You're a horrible, horrible person.
That is ridiculous.
I really am. It was, yeah.
I wouldn't even want to play that game if I had full sleep. And the fact that you were asking Gaston to do this at 5 a.m. in the morning and he had 1 hour sleep the night before, you are a horrible, horrible person.
Oh, Kevin, it wasn't 5 a.m. It was 7 a.m. in the morning.
That's when you came rolling into the room.
Oh, my gosh. No, but see, that was fun. And then I ended up going to the airport afterwards and slept the entire trip home. So for me, it was a great experience.
So you had all these games that you were playing. Did you do any of the hobby stuff that was going on, like the paintings or going to the hobby room or any of those classes?
So for me, I really, really wanted to go. I wanted to go to the Wobula class because that I think her name is Alley Cat Cosplay. She was there, and I wanted to see that, but I never got to any of the painting classes. But what about you guys?
When I went into the hobby area, I didn't actually get any of the painting classes. I wanted to, but I was constantly on the run, either trying to get stuff for the channel, or when we left to actually go to Pike's Pier. A couple of the classes that I wanted to do were during that time frame. But I did end up going into, they had it was kind of reminiscent of my old days when I used to play in GW games, where you go to a convention and you can kind of put together from the bits that they provide these like custom models. They had an let's try that one again, IKRPG session where you could basically build an IKRPG model out of the bits that they provided. And I ended up going in there with Gaston, and we ended up building 2 models from scratch, just all all privateer press parts, and ended up making that IKRPG. I made a custom shock trooper captain, because the new captain model's coming out, and I wanted to have this kind of proxy model that I could play with until the actual model came out. So I built one of those out of the IKRPG. And if I ever get to play IKRPG, I heard that the shock trooper is a good class to play.
That's one of the things that I actually didn't get to do that I was really upset about. Like, out of everything at Lock and Load, one of the things that I really wanted to get a chance to do was actually to go through that bit spin and build something, and I didn't get to do that just because I kept myself so busy between visiting people and everything else. So I'm glad to hear that actually was a really good event, because I made it up to that room a lot, and every time I went up there, people always seemed like they were just crowded around that table having fun. So I always told myself I was going to get to it, and I just sadly never did.
So, what other hobby stuff did you guys do? Anything else?
Well, a lot of my hobby stuff was also involved game stuff. So upon getting to Lock and Load, my major focus the entire time, the only thing that I had 100% told myself that I was going to do was I was going to participate in the hardcore tournament, just because it was the last tournament they would be having, and because I had worked for the last year basically on getting my army ready for the Master Craftsman competition that they do during the hardcore tournament.
Right.
So I played a bunch of games. I spent a lot of time like touching up models. Using the hobby room was really helpful. So I got to meet like Dallas Kemp, who is an amazing painter and just an amazing person to talk to, always willing to give you some information. I got to meet Matt, the old studio painter, and see some of his work, which was fantastic. And just between meeting a lot of the people, with myself being an admin for the Warmachine and Hordes painting group on Facebook, I got to meet a lot of people there that I have either helped with information hobby-wise, or that I have gotten like tips and tricks from. So that was really beneficial. But I mean, hobby-wise for me, it involved playing in the, as I said, the hardcore tournament. So I played 6 rounds in that, which was grueling and extremely rough, especially when I have someone like my good friend Andy Podell come in and top of turn 2 assassinate Doomy with his Retribution army, killing nothing else but Doomy.
Oh, that's painful.
Oh, it was super painful. I went 4-2, so I was really happy with my.
That's not bad.
Not at all. Especially when I was playing Mountain King, No Stone, and every single person who played my list always said, "No Stone? That's weird. You're not playing runes? That's weird." And then the Mountain King assassinated them.
Yeah, no, I hate that Mountain King list. Oh my god, that's so stupid spray. So I'm gonna just like walk up here and spray you.
Twice.
Assault spray.
And then I'm gonna kill shot spray.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna kill shot spray. And oh, hey, your cash is dead. That's weird.
Yeah, so I did that a bunch during hardcore, and after the 4th round, they took all of the armies that were entered, and they judged them all, and I made it into the final 2, and then they judged those final 2, and I actually was able to take home Master Craftsman for the last Master Craftsman they're having for the 2016 Lock and Load. So that was like a big goal for me. It was really overwhelming, and yeah, so that was really good. That allowed me to get up on the podium Sunday during the award ceremony and have my name called out. So that was a big goal of mine. So
that is pretty awesome. That is really amazing.
I saw your army was laid out on the IG final, that custom IG final table, and they were taking pictures. What was that all about? Are they going to be posting those somewhere, or?
They're putting that on. They're putting that on their website, and it's also going to be featured in a spread for No Quarter, the next No Quarter. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
pretty
So
epic.
they wanted to get some fun pictures, so they actually took my entire army. They had me put it out on the Iron Gauntlet finals table that Tomwan and Davies battled on, and then they had the No Quarter photographer take pictures of that, and so that's going to be in the next No Quarter, and they're going to be putting up, I think, an insider with it on. That's going to be included in one of the insiders. So
Ah, nice.
that was a big deal for me, and I got a huge plaque that's coming. So overall, that was like my major focus for the hobby portion of Lock and Load. Another thing I got to do was I entered some of my pieces into the P3 painting competition, and I got a lot of really good feedback and critiques from both Ron and Dallas, and it's really motivated me a lot going forward to paint for next Lock and Load and other events. So that was really beneficial to me.
And I guess that's one of the things about Lock and Load that was so impressive for me is that it's not just like you're going there and there's competition, and if you're not a competitive player, your only option is Iron Arena. Not only was there an entire hall devoted to Iron Arena, but there was an entire hall devoted to competitive gaming, where the IG and the Masters and Hardcore and everything was being played in. So. And even beyond those halls, there was the hobby rooms, there was the store, there was these classes that you could take. So it's not a scenario where the event is only taking care of one of the multitude of types of people that are playing Warmachine and Hordes or are interested in Warmachine and Hordes, but the ability to actually go out and do so much more, get modeling in, get painting in, get tips, get tricks, talk to other people in the community, play competitive games, play casual games, get stuff out of the Iron Arenas, take class. I mean, it's just so much to do. Then that's one of the reasons, like I said, I only got 4 games in because there was so much to do. For me, Lock and Load, as a whole, the entire, trip was just amazing. I got to do so much in the halls over those 3 days. I got there late Thursday and I flew out. I took the red eye on Sunday, so I got 3 days of basic of con going. I got the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And in there, even outside of that trip, we, a couple of us got together and we left the hall because we hadn't been to Seattle before. So we ended up going out to Pikes Pier to go to like a restaurant called Crab Pot, where they literally like just shove a bunch of food into these metal pots, and then they lay out a mat and then throw the food on the table, hand you a hammer and go, you get no plates, you get no silverware, good luck.
Yeah.
So you get to eat all this food. And then we ended up, sightseeing like the first Starbucks ever and Gum Alley and a bunch of other stuff that was on there. So there's so much to do out there. I mean, I feel comfortable. I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel comfortable with saying if you have never been to Lock and Load before, you are 100% missing out.
I would agree.
Yeah, definitely. I sadly missed that because I was still deep in 6 rounds of hardcore goodness. So so I got to miss all that, sadly.
It does suck that you got to miss that. It was a lot of fun going out and seeing that other stuff. What I will say is that Gum Alley had a weirdly fruity smell to it, which was unsettling because it was all chewed used gum on the wall.
Ugh.
So it was a little weird smelling it.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, it basically in Seattle, there's this. It's actually called Post Alley, but basically there's an alley where it's a good luck tradition of you go there and you chew a piece of gum of some kind and you literally stick it to the wall. So hundreds of people have come through this place and they stick used gum on the wall, and it's just this collage of color of used gum, and it's disturbing and amazing all at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of the best way to put it, disturbing and amazing. More disturbing, but...
I will definitely say one of my best moments, and I will definitely throw this out to anybody who decides to do Lock and Load in the future. There is a restaurant called XO right outside of the convention hall. If you ever have the chance to go there, do not. The service was horrible, and I think that my favorite moment from that is when another PGTonus, our friend John, he decides, being from the Baltimore area, he likes to try anything that's like new and exciting. And so he goes in there, he asks right away, hey, can I get the strangest thing that you have on the menu? And they bring him crispy pig intestines. And it was the most foul thing I have ever smelled and tasted in my life. And
I'm going to throw up right now.
It was horrible.
Pig intestines.
Yes, sir. So that was a lot of laughs ensued. I mean, we had like myself, we had Danny there, just a bunch of us were there, and it was a good time. It was funny to watch.
Yeah, and I know one of the other things is that, so we went to Lock and Load, and one of the things is we worked out in advance with the Beer Machine crew and with Metal John from Penning with Metal John to have these like little placards that say beer maneuvers with Metal John that we'd hand out to fans of the show. But one of the things is that they would actually get together and go to different places. And unfortunately, I was on a plane when this happened. Otherwise, I would have absolutely loved to go because I'm a huge fan of sushi. Is that they went to some restaurant where it's sushi served on a conveyor belt, and you literally just sit there and the food comes down this conveyor belt, and if you see something you want, you take the plate off and you eat it, and then they just charge you per plate.
They have that in Tyson's Corner.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, they have one of those in Tyson's Corner. It was awesome.
Are you kidding me? I've been missing out on conveyor belt sushi for this long?
Kevin, you've never had that before?
No.
Kevin, there's two places in
It's
Tyson's
in the middle of Tyson's Corner, right by the escalator. It actually wraps around the escalator. So you see this conveyor belt going around the escalators and stuff.
We've got to make this a non-gaming trip.
We will do it. Yeah. We'll go up there, yeah, because it's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. There's two places in Tyson's Corner I like to go to. That's one of them for sushi.
What else did you do, but that wasn't gaming or hobbing related, Tony?
I guess the only other thing I really did was, besides I got to hang out with DC and one of our other friends, Andrew Bailey. Him and we hung out on Wednesday night. And then I guess the only other thing I did that really wasn't gaming related was when I went out with you guys at Pike's Place. Just like kind of wandered around the city and really got to see a little bit more of Seattle. So, I don't know. My experiences weren't nearly as exciting. I did say the one place we did go to a lot for food, at least on the Thursday and Friday, was Specialties. That place was great. It was a nice little restaurant. It was a good sandwich shop. The issue with it was it wasn't open on the weekends. And that's really frustrating.
And the weird thing is it wasn't just that place. So I don't know if it's Bellevue specifically or what, but once Saturday and Sunday hit, there was literally one restaurant that was open out of all. There's like 10 around the convention center, and there was only one, which was up the street, called Blazing Bagels. And there's only so many bagels you can have in a day before you want to kill somebody. So I guess the only thing that I would recommend from Privateer Press from a convention standpoint, because I know that for out here in the DC area, Nova Open has a similar scenario where all the restaurants close around the weekend, is that they have food trucks that come in. Like they have a bunch of food trucks come in and pull up. I don't know if they can get away with it, but that specific venue, though an amazing venue, an amazing hall, there's no food directly available in, around the hall to feed the convention goers besides, leaving
Bagels.
the area, taking like an Uber over to to a different place. Speaking of Ubers,
but that was my first experience with an Uber ever.
Yeah, so I guess the thing was we were all at Mock's boarding house and we had to get back to the hotel. So we didn't want to pay for 2 Ubers, and there was 5 of us. It was myself, Kevin, Devin, Gaston, and
our new friend Terrence.
Yes, Terrence, our new friend Terrence that we had just met earlier that day.
From San Diego.
So we were all trying to get in there. And then I was saying we need to order 2 cabs. But Devin, you were pretty convinced that you could convince the guy to let all 5 of us in one. And what did you end up saying to him to get us to get in there?
I told him, I said, listen, dude, you're already here. There's 5 of us. It's only a 2-mile trip. I guarantee you we will all fit in this car, and that way you'll still get to drive us. And he said, sure. And we made it work. It was a very close experience with my friends. I think Terrence said it best. He said, man, I just met you guys today and wasn't expecting to get this close to you all.
Yeah, because we had to fit 4 of us in the back, and I mean, it was interesting. I think I was turned completely sideways with at least one leg over you, Devin. Yep. Kevin looked fair. No, actually, Kevin, you weren't even that comfortable in the front because you had to push your seat up all the way.
No, my knees were in the dashboard.
Yeah. So.
No, I give props to our new friend because, you know, like he said, I just met you and we're taking an Uber ride and we basically force him to sit on your lap, Tony.
No, he sat
on mine and Herman's lap.
I'm sorry, It was Devin. I was just like, what in the hell is going on?
Tony was basically spooning me at that point.
It was very comfortable. I mean, I liked it.
But no, Mox's boarding house was fantastic. Honestly, if I could find the capital, I mean, that would definitely be a location or something I would open on this coast because it was like all around the real deal. It had great food. It had a great like atmosphere. Their gaming area was great. There's their
staff
areas
was good. It was extremely clean. That's one of my biggest things. Was very, very clean for a gaming store, which it's. Whenever you go to a gaming store, it's always very hit or miss. I feel if it's a really clean gaming store or not. And I feel like that was very clean. It was very well organized. You knew exactly where it was very open spaced.
No smell either. There was no smell.
Well, I'll take it back. There was a smell. It was all the beers being served in the bar.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there wasn't that
gaming funk,
traditional gaming smell that you get some places. It was just, all in all, that place was legitimate, and I can definitely see why so many people go there. I mean, even myself, I met so many people there that I have talked to either on the forums or on Facebook. I got to meet Aaron, the Dream Maker, and he showed me his Imperatus swords, and I got to see Rathrock, and I got to meet a bunch of people there. Jay Larson.
You got to wield Rathrock.
Yeah, I did. I got some pictures of me wielding Rathrock. That was actually Saturday night, and I had to wait until Goris or Matt Ramsey decided to get a little hammered and allow me to wield his mighty weapon.
So what you're saying is, in order for a troll player to wield Rathrock, they need to get another troll player drunk.
You got it. That's how it works.
Sounds about appropriate.
I like it. All right, hey guys, so we just got about a little less than 2 minutes. So any final thoughts?
Honestly, if you have the chance to go to Lock and Load in 2017, I would take it. I personally, this was a big trip for me. I've thought about taking it, and this year in 2016, especially with the release of Mark III and everything, I just told myself no matter what, I was going to do it. And it, for me, was one of the most pleasant experiences overall. There was very few things that I was unhappy with. I thought the keynote was a little bit lacking, but I mean, I thought that the overall organization, I felt like the people, the events, everything was run very, very smoothly. And, I applaud, Privateer Press, and I applaud the PGs who helped. It was just the whole community aspect. It really felt like this was a hub of everything that was Warmachine and Hordes.
Awesome.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I think it was. I'll go in with that exam sentiments. I will throw a call out here. PP, which I know you're not listening to this, dude. Step up your game on that keynote. That was just unacceptable. But overall, if you take that one little moment out of an entire weekend away, it was an amazing trip, and I would hands down do it again.
Awesome. Yeah, same for me. I mean, overall, I enjoyed the experience. I had so much fun finally be able to go and do that. For me, it's probably going to be one of my last conventions for a while. So I am really excited that was the point where I got to finish off. All right. So with that being said, guys, that's an episode. Please listen to us. Let us know on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube comments. Let us know how it was, any questions you guys have, and thank you very much.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.